Hey there, geek fans. This is Eric with Geekness, and we are talking to the director of the new movie coming out called Mythica 3. But we're going to interview this guy and find out what makes him tick. What are your dreams? What are your hopes? What are your intimates of intimates? So first of all, just kind of introduce yourself. Tell us where you came from and why you're doing what you're doing.
So my name is A. Todd Smith. Let's see. What you just want kind of like a brief history kind of thing?
Of time. Brief history of time.
Brief history of time. Well, I finished film school in 2011, and ever since then I've been working as a freelance director, filmmaker in general. And I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. I've done a lot of documentaries. I've done now a feature, a couple short films. So, and I love the fantasy genre, which is why I decided it would be awesome to direct a fantasy film. So this film in particular, Mythica 3, is my first film, my first fiction feature film that I've done.
I want to know what your favorite movie is.
I have favorite directors.
Top three. What's your top three?
Top three directors is probably Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who's a French director. So if I had to narrow it down to like one or two movies, it'd probably be one of his, like Amélie. Next would be, I love English directors like Danny Boyle, Edgar Wright, or Guy Ritchie.
This might narrow it down a little bit more for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite fantasy movie? Because you have directed a fantasy movie. Yeah. What would you say is like your favorite fantasy film?
Well, I don't know if you'd call this a film, but Game of Thrones is definitely my favorite in the genre.
It's got everything.
So, yeah, it's just got everything.
It's got dragons and walkers and it's everything.
Yeah, it's the first kind of fantasy movie that you can take really seriously too, I think. You know, of course, like Lord of the Rings and all those are awesome too. It's just kind of different. They've got a different feel to it. I love just kind of the dark feel of Game of Thrones, which is incidentally kind of exactly what we were going for Mythica 3.
So, okay, now we're going to talk a little bit more about your directing. What was the process for you to prepare to direct this film?
Yeah. So, again, I started on the Mythica series as a cinematographer, and I originally got hired as the second unit director for the first two movies, just directing the action sequences. And then the producers decided that they wanted me, since I was going to be spending so much time on set directing the action sequences, they wanted me to also just shoot the first two movies since I do have some experience shooting. And so I did that. And so a lot of my preparation originally was just kind of visual preparation. Again, like Game of Thrones was probably the number one like style that I wanted to go for visually, with lighting and just how overall things looked.
What would you say was the most difficult thing about directing this film?
The most difficult thing probably ties to the last thing, which was having a really action-heavy movie and having so little time to do it in. Especially when you look at like a lot of these amazing action sequences from films you love, and you look at all the coverage they're getting. Coverage meaning like all the different kind of camera angles and shots that they get, and then trying to do that yourself with the limited amount of time that you have on a really low-budget movie. Was by far the most difficult part. So it became a constant kind of battle with myself, trying to decide what to compromise, you know, what to cut out of my shot list or whatever, and what to keep, you know, what to spend time on, what to spend most of the time on versus what to just kind of speed through.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about Mythica 3 now.
Okay.
Briefly explain to us what the film is about.
So Mythica 3 is about a group of friends. They become friends in the first two movies, the first one specifically, who are kind of just a group of adventurers. At the beginning of Mythica 3, one of them gets captured by one of the antagonists of the whole series, whose name is Paragus. And he captures Thane and basically negotiates with the rest of the friends that if they will do an errand for him, he will release Thane. And that errand is to go collect some drugs from some drug lords kind of thing.
It's kind of like a quest.
a
quest.
movie. Yeah.
Like we need to complete this quest in order to move on, or in order to save our friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So say I'm new to this. I've never seen the other films. Would you say that someone would need to go back and watch the first two films in order to enjoy Mythica 3?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to make Mythica 3 as standalone as possible. It definitely helps to be able to just get into the film, knowing who the characters are, knowing what their relationships are, knowing why they care about each other, and you definitely get that from the first two movies.
I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to backtrack. Sorry. Game of Thrones is great, but that's like a newer resource. But like, what kind of things did you grow up with?
Yeah, growing up was definitely reading the Lord of the Rings, Hobbit trilogy, the Tolkien stuff, Silmarillion and things like that. So,
did you actually read the Silmarillion?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was a huge geek for the books.
All right, cool. Check it out, you guys. This is awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
my good friend.
Yes, good to see you.
Yeah. All right. I feel really awkward. Should we get in closer? What do you think?
Hey.
You don't even have to move the mic.
Let's get real close.
Let's get real close.
Wow, maybe we should leave for this interview.
Yeah, get out of here.